The gala fell silent the moment the glass hit his face. A full arc of red wine, bright, violent, deliberate, splashed across Julian Cross's skin, staining his shirt, dripping down the polished marble floor like a wound the room could not look away from. Gasps rippled through the chandeliers, through the orchestra pit, through every glittering table filled with people who suddenly forgot how to breathe. And standing over him, hand poised, chin lifted, eyes cold with entitlement, was Oilia Grant. A woman who believed power was a title. A woman who believed privilege was a birthright. A woman who believed a black man in her sphere was a trespasser. That, she spit out, her voice slicing through the ballroom, is for pretending you belong here. The orchestra froze mid-note. The violinist's bow trembled in mid-air. A waiter stopped walking, his tray shaking in his hands. Phones lifted instantly, slow at first, then boldly, as guests realized they were witnessing another one of Oilia's infamous public humiliations. But this time her target wasn't shrinking. He wasn't apologizing. He wasn't even angry. Julian Cross stood still. Silent. Calm. Unmoved. And that calmness, the kind a king carries, terrified her more than any anger ever could. The Grand Marlo Gala shimmered that night like a temple built to worship wealth. Millionaires and billionaires crowded around crystal towers of champagne, their diamonds catching the chandelier light, their whispers dripping with deals, gossip, and generational entitlement. Influencers positioned themselves near the stage. Politicians mingled with developers. Investors talked loudly as if volume equaled importance. But in the center of it all, moving with the quiet confidence of a man who needed no introduction, no validation, and no applause, stood Julian Cross. Tall, well-dressed, composed. A man who observed more than he spoke. A man who didn't chase attention because attention already knew where to find him. Most guests didn't recognize him. A few did. And those few fell silent when he passed, offering subtle nods of respect, the kind reserved for someone who held real power. Not loud power. Not performative power. But the kind that built empires quietly and crushed them just as easily. Julian wasn't there for the spectacle. He wasn't there for the clinking glasses. He wasn't there to pose for cameras. He was there for one reason. A contract review meeting with the event's largest sponsor. A meeting that would reshape the future of several companies in the room. But Oilia Grant didn't know that. Or maybe she wouldn't have cared. Because all she saw was a black man standing near the champagne fountain. And in her world, that alone was an invitation to attack. She spotted him like prey. Her laugh, high, sharp, and brittle, carried across her table as she whispered loudly, "Look at him strolling like he belongs. No badge. No escort. No sense of place." Her friends giggled, eager for the show. Her husband stiffened, already sensing disaster. Everyone knew her reputation. Everyone knew she went after easy targets. Everyone knew she loved public scenes. And tonight she chose Julian. She stood, took one slow sip of champagne, then marched across the ballroom, heels clicking like warning shots. The crowd parted. Phones lifted. Conversations died mid-sentence. Julian turned at the sound, his expression unreadable. "You," she snapped, stepping into his space. "Who invited you?" Julian blinked, calm as ever. "I'm here for the annual contract review meeting." Oilia's smile curled with cruelty. "Review of what? The catering?" Laughter erupted around her, forced, uncomfortable, cowardly. Julian's voice lowered. "Miss Grant, perhaps we should speak privately." "No," she said loudly, turning so every camera caught her. "We'll speak right here." And before he could utter another word, she grabbed a passing server's tray, snatched a glass, and hurled the wine directly into his face. Silence. Heavy. Paralyzing. Absolute. The kind of silence that falls right before a storm. She wasn't finished. Humiliating him once wasn't enough. Her rage wasn't about him, it was about being watched. Being adored for her cruelty. Being validated by her own audience. She reached for a second glass. "Let me help you understand your place," she announced, her voice rich with venom. But this time Julian lifted his hand, not in fear, not in defense, but in a quiet warning. "That's enough." "Oh, you think you can stop me?" she sneered. He didn't answer. He didn't argue. He didn't flinch. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't step back. He simply pulled out his phone, tapped once, and held the screen toward her. Whatever she expected to see, panic, threats, desperation, was not what she saw. Instead, a notification glowed across the screen. "Confirm, terminate all Grant Corp contracts?" And below it, "Action completed." Oilia froze. Her friends froze. Her husband rushed forward, face pale. What did you do?" Julian wiped wine from his chin with a napkin, then looked at her with the same calm he had walked in with. "I just ended every partnership your family has with my company." Her husband's voice cracked. You can't do that." "Yes," Julian said softly. "I can. And I already did." Whispers tore through the ballroom. "Did he say Cross?" "No, not the Cross." "He's that Julian Cross?" Suddenly, people recognized him. Not the clothes, not the face, the name. Crosstech Global. A company that powered half the logistics infrastructure of the East Coast. A silent empire. A giant hiding in plain sight. And Oilia, entitled, loud, and careless, had just tried to degrade the man who controlled the backbone of her husband's billion-dollar developments. She hadn't insulted a guest. She had assaulted the wrong king. "For the last 5 years," Julian said, voice carrying across the room, "Crosstech has powered 60% of your family's real estate operations. Without us, your projects stall within weeks." Oilia's voice trembled. "He's bluffing. He has to be bluffing." Charles Grant shook his head, his voice hollow. "He's not bluffing. I saw the contract terms. He controls everything." Julian stepped closer, not intimidating but resolute. "Your wife didn't just throw wine at a stranger. She tried to humiliate the executive holding your empire together." Gasp. Shocked whispers. Fallen jaws. People recorded openly now. Oilia's mascara streaked. Her breath hitched. "You can't treat me like this," she screamed. "I'm Oilia Grant. My husband." "Your husband," Julian cut in, "is about to renegotiate his entire future without your involvement." Security approached. Slow, respectful, careful. "Escort Ms. Grant outside," Julian instructed. "Do not touch her. Just guide her out." The dignity he extended to her, after everything, only made her humiliation sharper. "No. Get your hands off," I said. "Charles, do something." But Charles only watched, shoulders slumped, eyes deadened with the knowledge of what was coming. She was let out screaming. And the room watched the downfall of a woman who thought cruelty was power. Silence clung to the ballroom after she was gone. Guests avoided Julian's gaze. Some whispered apologies. Some stepped aside with reverence. Others simply stared, unsure whether to fear him or admire him. But Julian didn't bask in their shock. He didn't smirk. He didn't gloat. He didn't raise his chin triumphantly. He simply turned to Charles. "You have 30 minutes to meet me in the boardroom upstairs. Bring your legal team." Charles nodded, defeated. "I'll be there." 30 minutes later, with trembling hands, Charles Grant signed the termination documents. Crosstech froze all proprietary systems, seized assets, extracted its infrastructure, and left the Grant empire hanging by a thread. Not out of spite, not out of vengeance, but out of principle. Actions have consequences, even for the powerful, especially for the powerful. Oilia's tantrum cost her family nearly $1 billion. As Julian left the tower hours later, a reporter hurried up to him. "Mr. Cross," she asked breathlessly, "what message does tonight send to attendees? To people watching this unfold online?" Julian paused. His expression was calm, balanced, unshakable. "A simple one," he said. "Power isn't proven by controlling a room." He turned slightly, eyes reflecting the city lights. "It's proven by how quietly you end the people who mistake your dignity for weakness." And he walked away. Composed, unstoppable. Behind him, an empire collapsed. And in front of him, a world finally saw a truth it had tried to ignore. A black man's dignity is not up for negotiation. Not tonight. Not ever. Every humiliation has a cost. Every insult has a consequence. And every time someone tries to bury dignity beneath racism, cruelty, or arrogance, someone rises higher than the world ever expected. Julian Cross didn't shout. He didn't fight. He didn't retaliate with chaos. He responded with truth, with power, with calm justice, because sometimes the strongest revenge is the quietest. If this story hit your heart, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories they tried to silence.